coming at you with your reading lesson for Friday, May 15th. So this week you have been working with main idea, right? And the main idea of a text is what your text is all about. You pick out that one good piece of solid information that the text just builds upon, right? That's what all your text evidence leads you to. So what we are going to do is we have an article to read together today about the sun. Very interesting. And as we are reading, we're going to stop and jot. We're just going to jot down some notes as we are reading. And then once we are finished reading the text together, we are going to go through and try to figure out what is the main idea of this text? What evidence is there within the text to support it? Can we pick out the main idea? And if so, can we find evidence to back it up? Remember the dance, back it up? So, and then as soon as we are finished with that, we have a fun activity for you guys to work on your own. So we are going to get started right away. So let's make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. All right, so the title of our article today is The Sun, Yellow Dwarf Star at the Heart of the Solar System. Now, look at this word dwarf, yellow dwarf star. What does that mean? Do you think that means big or small? It means small, right? Yellow dwarf star at the heart of the solar system. What do you think that means if it's at the heart of the solar system? Probably means it's in the middle, right? So let's see. There's a picture of the sun up close. Did you know that that's what it looked like? What does that look like to you? Is that what you thought the sun would look like? To me, it looks just like a big, almost like a basketball on fire, right? All right, so let's start reading. The sun is a star made of gas. It is not rocky and hard like Earth. It is burning hot and very bright. The Earth moves around the sun. So do other planets like Mars and Venus. Scientists call their movement around the sun an orbit. Everything that orbits the sun is part of the solar system. We cannot live without the sun. It keeps us warm and gives us light. It provides us with energy and makes plants grow. We remember that when we were reading about sunflowers last week, right? We talked about how the sun was very important to make them grow. The sun is also like a big anchor. It creates gravity that keeps all the planets orbiting in the solar system. If it weren't for the sun, planets would simply fly off loose into the universe. Can you imagine? Instead of being in that nice line, they would just be all over the place. Let's look at our next heading. Big as 1.3 million Earths. The sun is much, much bigger than Earth. It is as big as 1.3 million Earths. The sun is 93 million miles from Earth. Let's stop our reading right there and let's see if we can find some notes. So far, we know that the sun is as big as 1.3 million Earths, right? And we just read that means it's 93 million miles away. That is extremely far. That's hard for even me to try to wrap my head around. Let's keep reading. The Milky Way galaxy. The sun is in the Milky Way galaxy. A galaxy is a group of stars and planets. There are around 200 billion stars in the Milky Way. That's a lot. Think about when you look up at the sky at night, all of those stars that you see, that's not even half of what is actually out there. The sun orbits the middle of the Milky Way. As it moves, it brings the planets and the solar system along with it. Earth goes along for the ride. One full orbit, so one full ride, takes 230 million years. Will we still be alive in 230 million years? No, absolutely not. That is so wild that it takes that long. It won't even finish by the time that you guys have your own children. And they have children and they have children. It still won't be finished. Isn't that wild? Let's stop and see what else we can jot down about the sun. So we know that it is in the Milky Way galaxy. It is 4.5 billion years old. And we're going to read about the next section right now. Very hot. The sun is very, very hot. We know that, right? The inside is about 27 million degrees. The outer part is about 10,000 degrees. Whew. And here's a picture of the sun. We're going to talk about some of these parts of the sun here in just a minute. But this is just an illustration, and it's showing you different pieces of the sun. So let's continue reading. The photosphere. Let's see if we can find that. Here's our photosphere, and here's our arrow pointing to it. All right, so keep that in your mind as we're reading. The photosphere. The main outside part of the sun is called the photosphere. It's the part that we can see. The photosphere gives off the sunlight we get here on Earth. The sun's light takes 8 minutes to reach us. So the photosphere is the outside of the sun. Outside. So if you're visualizing that basketball, the outside of the basketball, okay? The chromosphere and the corona. The chromosphere and corona cover the photosphere. They are both much thinner than the photosphere. Their light is much weaker. Most of the time, they cannot be seen from Earth. The photosphere is too bright. Both can be seen when the moon covers the photosphere. This is called a solar eclipse. Before we continue, let's go back up to our diagram. Here's the chromosphere and the corona. So the corona looks like it's outside a little bit, right? They're two very thin layers. Thin means very, very small, but they are on top of the photosphere. Oh, look, this is the solar eclipse. When the moon goes right in front of the sun, and you can just barely see the outside of the sun. But look, you can definitely see those pieces, can't you? The chromosphere looks like a red ring around the sun. The corona is white. It looks like a beautiful ring of flowers. So in this picture, it's not red, right? But I have a feeling this yellow ring that we are seeing is most likely the chromosphere. Solar flares. The sun sometimes shoots solar flares out into space. These are known as solar flares. They can reach Earth. Satellites and other communication devices may stop working. Our TV or cell phones may not work. The sun usually gives off flares around every 11 years. That's interesting. I wonder if we should put that in our notes. Let's see. We did not talk about how. Let's finish the top section of our notes, shall we? Very hot sections. So we did learn that each section plays a different part on the sun, right? We learned about that outer cover. Do you remember what it was called? The photosphere. The photosphere is that outside cover of the sun. And we also read about the chromosphere and the corona, which are very, very small layers that sit right on top of that photosphere, right? And we were just reading about solar flares. So let's see. We can see the photosphere from Earth. We read that in our text. Chromosphere and corona are thinner than the photosphere, but they cover the top, like a very thin sheet of paper. Solar flares are fire-like flares that can reach Earth and possibly mess up our technology devices. Would you say that's true? What the text told us, right? Let's keep reading. All right. Myths and stories. The sun has inspired mythological stories in cultures around the world, including those of the ancient Egyptians, the Aztecs of Mexico, Native American tribes of North and South America, the Chinese, and many others. Books say Superman or others from the planet Krypton have powers from the yellow glow of our sun, and they can even dispose of dangerous materials, as Superboy once did by hurling them into the sun. What would happen to those materials if they were hurled into the sun? That's right, they would burn, wouldn't they? They definitely would, since the sun is so extremely hot. All right, so now that we have finished our article, let's take a look at what we think the main idea might be. Now, you've talked about main idea all this week, right? The main idea is what your text is all about, right? It's that one statement that kind of sums everything up. So let's take a look. Main idea. Would you agree that the sun is an important part of our solar system? I agree too. Do you agree that that statement makes a great main idea for the text we just read? Well, in order to find out if it's a good main idea, we have to look and see if we have text evidence that supports it, right? Supports means backs it up or makes it true. So let's look and see at the evidence that Ms. Lewis has put down, and you can tell me in the comments below if this evidence backs it up or if it does not back it up. All right, evidence number one. The sun provides us with energy and helps plants grow. What do you guys think? Yes, I definitely think that that backs up the statement that the sun is an important part of our solar system. If we didn't have the sun, would our plants be able to grow? No, they wouldn't. The plants need sunlight. They need that to help them grow. All right, evidence number two. It creates gravity for all of the planets. The planets would float away if there was not a sun. What do you think? Was that in our text? Does that statement help prove that the sun is an important part of our solar system? Hmm. All right, evidence number three. The sun provides us with warmth. What do you think? Does that statement back up? The sun is an important part of our solar system? Make sure you comment down below and tell Miss Lewis if this evidence supports our main idea or if it does not support our main idea. I'm going to be looking at those comments to see what you think. Okay? All right, the final thing we are going to do today is kind of a fun Friday activity. What we are going to do is we are going to make a comic strip. And our comic strip is at makebeliefscomics.com. So you can go to this website if you have a computer or a tablet. You could probably even do this on your phone if your family will let you. So the name of our comic strip is, it has a place for the title. You can make the title anything that you want. However, today, keeping up with what we just read about, I made our title, If the Sun Went Away. What would happen? Based on the evidence from our main idea, what would happen if we did not have sunlight or just the sun in general? Would we have energy? Would plants grow? What would happen to the planets if there wasn't a sun? What would happen to us as people if we did not have the sun to keep us warm? Hmm. I can already think of some things that you might be visualizing. So it has a spot right here for the author's name, and the author will be you. So I have in my very first comic strip box just a few pictures to demonstrate what might happen or what could happen if we did not have the sun and it went away. So I found a picture of the sun with some clouds, And where did I get that? It's right down here at the bottom. There's all kinds of different graphics. You can choose a background, you can choose a color, you can do speech bubbles to have dialogue. There's all kinds of little stickers and bits and pieces that you can put in your comic strip. So I also chose to put in this sign that says BAM! What does that usually mean? Something has been hit or something has maybe exploded. And I also put in the word poof, poof, gone. The sun is gone. Oh no. So what are some things we could put in our next comic box? Let's go back and look at our main idea again. The main idea that we identified is the sun is an important part of our solar system, right? So let's look at evidence number 1. The sun provides us with energy and helps plants grow. So what would happen if we did not have the sun anymore? What would happen to those plants? They wouldn't grow, would they? Would we have plants? Would we have flowers? Would we have crops from farmers? No, probably wouldn't. So we could probably click on objects down here and look, we could put a watermelon up here. Oh, it's not good. There it goes. A watermelon. We would not have, oh, a plant. We could click on the plant. There's a plant up there. We would not have a plant. What else can we put up here? And once they're up here in your box, you can move them around to wherever you want them to go. You could spread them out or do whatever you want. This is your comic strip. So what would happen? We wouldn't have them anymore, right? So could we put some dialogue in here? Sure, we could. So we could click here and we could make a dialogue box. All right, so let's go back to our picture or our comic strip. What could go in our third box? Let's go back and look at our main idea and evidence again. It creates gravity for all of the planets. The planets would float away if there was not a sun. How could we illustrate that in a comic? What could we put? We could put the characters. I don't know if there's planets specifically as something you could stick in there, but looking at our last piece of evidence, the sun provides us with warmth. We could take some of those characters that we saw, the people, and we could put them into our last piece of our comic strip. And we could write something in the dialogue or in the little box about how we would not have warmth. People would be what? Whew, very, very cold, right? Yes. All right, sweet friends. Today's lesson was short and sweet, right? But I hope that you had fun, and I hope that you're able to go to the website to make your own comics. And I can't wait to see them. If you can, take a picture of them and email them to Miss Lewis, okay? Don't forget to put in the comments if you thought that Miss Lewis's evidence for the main idea supported the main idea or did not support the main idea. Make sure and let me know down below, okay? Friends, I can't tell you enough how much I miss you and how much I wish that we were still in class together. But I know that pretty soon I'm going to get to see your faces to give you your belongings for the summer. And then once school starts back, we're all going to be sure to give each other a big hug, right? So while you're still at home, make sure you're staying safe, stay sweet, be nice to your friends and your family. And I will see you later, friends. Bye.